This event has in the past provided significant progress for individuals and fellows to get to know each other and start their own business. And the community has grown so fast here in Toronto, especially in GTA, and the business is growing. The Chamber has grown in the last 20 years in business, and we highly value business connections, and our community's growth with our partners has helped a long way. Our recent events like the Gala Night was very successful and brought tremendous appreciation from partners and the community. It is helping us to value our service to move with the mainstream, and our small business really growing in this area. I'm glad to say that our hardworking small business clients are now moving towards solidifying the relationship with other communities and looking for business expansion elsewhere. All this will not be happening without the support of our corporate sponsors. Especially, I'd like to give a big thanks for Royal Bank, who's here to help us set up TD Bank, the Cable Shop, Scotia Bank, CIBC, the Law Office of Gary Anand Shankari, the Corporators, and the Law Office of Melanie David, who were in the past very cooperative and helped us to move on.
Entrepreneurs, and we asked them, what are the top 5 things that you would provide coaching on to somebody who's thinking about starting off? The first thing they talked about, networking. Belong to an association such as yourselves. Now, I'm going to take a moment to pause because this is an important year, if I'm not mistaken, for the Canadian Tamil Chamber of Commerce, because you're celebrating 20 years in existence, which speaks to the commitment this community has to small businesses and entrepreneurialism. So thank you for being a pioneer in that, because that is no easy task. But associations like yours have been deemed as key for small businesses to succeed. The other things that small business owners talk to us about is understand who is the competition. What do they do? Where do they play? Do you actually want to go up against that competitor? Or would you want to choose an area where you might not have as much competition? Thirdly, what's the marketplace doing? How are consumers reacting these days? What are their mindset? What do we know about them so that we could adapt quickly? A business plan. Now, I've been a banker for a while, and I've been in business banking, I've been in risk management, and I know a lot of business clients, when I spoke to them about a business plan, the answer I got was, that's something the bank wants, and it's all about numbers. So when this particular item came up as a challenge, or something that they wanted other entrepreneurs to know about, I took a lot of time to ask, so talk to me about, what are you talking about when you say a business plan? And they answered, well, Mike, it's a dynamic, it's a living document to start to chart out how would you attain growth. Who are your competitors? How do you want to grow? Who do you want to avoid? But it was much more than just the financial numbers. So one of the key things that they advise other entrepreneurs is start thinking about those things, because as you want to grow, you need to understand how to get there. Who might want to stop you from growing, because the competition does not want to give up their market share either. It was a very interesting conversation.
So what do you guys do? Like, what do I have to do if I want to invest? Well, Jay, by the way.
I'm Cheryl. How are you?
Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you too. What do you do if you want to invest?
Yeah.
Talk to CTCC.
Is that right? Yeah. So what you will help me?
If you want to give me a little bit of Sujan will send you information on all the podcasts.
What if I wanted to invest in something like you would be able to tell me?
I'm sure you would.
That's good. Okay. Tamil Biz, good job.
grocery store people, laundry, and all kind of business. Yeah, we have also
Paul Barwell. You mentioned about transferring the principal house to the spouse name to have the business. But you mentioned about transferring, well, if the business fails, you said he can go and sleep. He could. Very comfortable. What exactly that means?
So when I started off with the scenario, this is the scenario, right? You're living in a condo, Scarborough Town Center. You left your job, you're $50,000 in your hand, 25 was borrowed, 25 is your own. You're putting that into a business. And you're married, and you have kids. At the end of the day, you can blow that 50,000. Right, or you put a limit on what you're ready to lose. But at the end of the day, you should be able to go back to that condo. And you know, if it's a matter of 3 months, you cry yourself to sleep, as they say, and then wake up the next day and you go start a business, or you go back to work, you have that stability that doesn't disrupt your entire family. Right? Because oftentimes what happens is, if you're personally exposed, then you're probably, you maximize the loans against your property, so you've pretty much taken out the entire equity in the house. So you have very little room, so your payments are going to be higher. And if you're unable to make those payments, then chances are there's the banks will start enforcing. And once the banks start enforcing, it's the property goes on the block. You have to leave the house. There's a lot of these scenarios that I actually see on a day-to-day basis. Right? An important point that I want to make is when I mean transfer of principal assets to a spouse, to the non-business spouse, it's important that it's not done in the middle of a turmoil. So if you received notice of default, and if you received, people are coming after you, and you know you're going down, down the elevator shaft in a hurry, that's not the time to do it, because there's laws that prevent you from doing that. So there's a thing called the Fraudulent Conveyancing Act, there's a law called the Fraudulent Conveyancing Act, which will allow creditors to come and rescind the transfer and still bring a judgment against you because you did this in anticipation of loss and in anticipation.
Now let's talk about setting a Twitter strategy. Twitter can be used in multiple different ways. Not only can be used for actually getting new clients, but for keeping existing ones really happy. So there's about 4 or 5 different ways where Twitter can be applicable. So customer relations, crisis management, reputation management, covering events, and then selling and promoting your products, and also issue advocacy, for example. So I'll give you an example of each with your respective businesses, since you were so kind to offer up your vertical. Customer relations. I bought some flooring from you, and I noticed that one of the boxes of hardwood flooring had a crack in it. Okay, so the wood was scratched up or something else like that. And I'm trying to get your salesperson on the phone, but the salesperson is simply not cooperating with me. I reach out to you via Twitter and say, you have an opportunity here to wow me as a customer, right? And I do that through customer relations. I say, I tweet out to your particular business and say, I need this replaced right now, will you help me? So now you have an opportunity to take a dissatisfied customer and make them a happy customer. And you know what happens, the studies basically show that the ones that are dissatisfied and will reach out to you will become your biggest.
It's much easier, and I think they used to get frustrated too, because they just want to
they couldn't vote. Like even if they wanted to
Oh, I
say
know.
like please don't like this, do come back. So
it's always, you gotta resub them.
yeah. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna keep hanging around. Good to see you guys.
See you.
Wait a minute. You guys all the crispy milkshakes. Is that planned?
You wear the gray pants. You wear the gray shirt. I said
You wear it too.